All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Crone Chat podcast. Today, because we're supposed to be bringing in awesome metaphysical entrepreneurs for tips and tricks, right? We have the fabulous Stephanie coming in here today to talk to us about a topic that really popped into her head this week. And she's like, oh my God, I feel so inspired. I have to talk about this. So, hi, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you let us know a little bit about you and what you do, like who you like to help, things like that.
Okay. All right. My name is Stephanie Carrell. I am a holistic nutritionist, and I like to work with spiritually minded and holistic minded moms and help them when they're struggling with knowing how to live that spiritual life when they have a family, right? And they want to express themselves, and but they don't want to overcomplicate the life, right? They want to be simple. So that's what I do is I help them to really find a plan on how they can do that, get themselves living in the life that they want, fully expressed, where they're having less stress and anxiety, really aligning with that higher self that they want to be expressing into the world. And in the process, we lose the mental and physical weight that goes with that.
Yeah, that's totally true. It's like when you learn how to better yourself on the inside, it's like then on the outside, your health gets much better and everything
Mhm.
just starts dropping away. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I know a little bit about your background and why you got started, but do you want to share what made you really get passionate about helping other moms with their health and doing holistic nutrition?
Really, it all started when my husband walked out. You know, um, what do you do in that kind of situation, right? It's like completely sudden. They walk out, and I really started questioning, like, why is this happening? What is going on? How did we get to the point to where he wants to walk out? And I know things weren't great, so let's get to the bottom of this, because personally, I am a super problem solver. That's like who I am. So immediately the questions started, and I started looking and reading and doing all this investigation on what happens in those types of relationships. And I went down this huge rabbit hole, essentially, of self-reflection and just learning my part into that. And from that experience, this work evolved into what it is. So really, I'm just taking moms through the process that I had to learn myself.
I totally feel that. And sometimes when you hit those moments where you lose somebody and you have kind of that death card moment, or even sometimes that tower moment, that's when you
Mhm.
start,
Yeah,
it like starts this change that you feel like you really need to go through. Um,
exactly.
so do you feel like, because I know the big thing that you wanted to talk about today was integrity, do you feel like that ties into why you want to talk about it so much today, or what really inspired you to dig deep about that?
Yeah. So as I started reflecting, is right now, astrologically, this is a big time for change, right? 2019 is this big side year where we make all these changes. And right now is a pivotal point where we're dropping everything that isn't serving us, and we're stepping into this new frontier, essentially. And we're in this in between phase of, well, where are we going? What are we going to be doing? So it's pivotal and very important for us to be looking at integrity and what it is that we really, really want and what's going to serve us the most, so that we can be aligned with where we need to go and those action steps that we need to take. And really, that's how everything started for me. The first thing that I wanted to do, that I just felt called to do after all of my soul searching, was to tell the truth. Like, it was just this deep need just to tell the truth about everything. And that's where it started for me. And everything I do with the moms and the women that I talk to, it has to do with integrity and just getting everything into alignment with who you are and what you want to do.
Okay, that's so. what do you feel like when it comes to being honest and wanting to help these women out, that you possess that sometimes other people skip over, or um, like they don't quite do as well as you want to do it, if that makes sense? So like
Right.
for example, it's like talking about intuitive reading and you don't actually talk about reading intuitively, you just talk about memorizing keywords. So what do you, when it comes to this, what do you feel like there's some things that people skip over that are really essential to the process?
In nutrition, for example, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people want to go straight the diet, and they start talking about the foods that you need to have and what you don't want to have. And essentially what they're doing is they're not looking at the integrity of your body.
Excuse me.
They're
Mm-hmm.
not looking at, what structures need to be in place before you start putting in the food. If you want to look at the physical, actual integrity that way. But also, when we talk about integrity, there is like a lower vibration to it. That lower vibration is judgment. So by going straight into saying, no, you can't have this, you can't have this, this is bad and good, you're automatically putting in judgments. And if you're somebody that self-judges automatically, then if you eat those foods, it's not, you're just going to judge yourself for it and beat yourself up. So you're really not helping the person like they would need.
Okay. Okay. So it's like you go to a nutritionist to get some kind of help, but because you know that there's this mental thing in their mind of, I am judging you for how you are doing things as you are now, instead of healing that aspect first, it sets you up for failure from the beginning.
Right.
Is that kind of what's happening?
Exactly. Yeah, they're doing that. And it's not enough, people aren't doing it, but even once you start on the diet
Mm-hmm.
and then you automatically have this thought, okay, well, wheat is bad, sugar is bad, and you're starting to judge those and form an opinion, when in reality, you may be able to eat some of those things once we heal the integrity of your body and your gut. And so people are jumping that step and going straight to judging specific foods when maybe that's not necessarily what we need to do.
Okay, so I know that one part of your process is to sit down and actually heal those things first. Is there anything else that you do to um, that you found has been really, really helpful when wanting to help people lose weight or to heal any issues that they have with nutrition?
Well, everything I do is individualized. So it
Mm-hmm.
really depends on where the person is in their journey of where we start. But the three things that really helped me when I started this whole journey was telling the truth. It was really looking at my emotions and feelings and what I want, and then healing my body. So those are the three things that we really look at in my foundational program. We look at what it is that you want in those emotions. And the emotional part I found is really what people struggle with the most, because nobody has really been taught how to express their emotions. And getting in integrity with how we really feel and expressing that out in a way that's productive, not like passive aggressive or anything like that, is a primary thing that we work on too. That helps with everything else.
Okay, that makes total sense. So it's
Mhm.
like, so how, I know if you're doing this for other people, it's obviously been like this huge transformation for yourself. So how did it feel like when you were first going through this of, let's heal my emotions or my thoughts around nutrition or my thoughts about my body? How did it feel when you did that approach first and then gave yourself a plan, like in comparison to, just jumping to the diet, like you said?
Oh my God. So everything, right? Everything changed. Um, because as I went through and I started this process and healing those emotions and the baseline, it it was just hugely blossoming. Like I was able to actually forgive my husband for everything that happened. Forgiveness came up. And it's not just like, oh, I forgive you and still have this anger. Like, I have really accepted and forgiven him for that. Now, there's other things I'm still working on. It's not completely 100%, but I can say that that helped with that process. I started to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still okay? I lost
Yep,
you. I
I'm
don't
here.
know. Okay.
I don't know. I'm
Wow.
still here though.
But I started to manifest things that I wanted. I randomly was invited to have dance classes with this high profile dance instructor for free. And I got a car, and all these different things where I started to align with what I wanted and listen to my intuition and my emotions. Everything kind of fell into place. And yeah, everything changed. Like, I went from this person that didn't really know what I wanted. I would just kind of go along with what everybody else wanted. Just didn't have a say. And a lot of that had to do with that judgmental stuff, right? The self-judgment, and really stepping out of that into the integrity and following my path. I turned into like this crazy spiritual hippie, as my kids call me. They think I'm weird. But that's who I am. And people told me that a long time ago, that they saw me that way, but I never saw myself like that. So it's starting to come out more and more as I go deeper and deeper into this work.
Oh, that's awesome. Because then it's like, it gives the example that for other people out there who might be having issues with their partner or struggling with themselves and taking care of themselves, that it actually is kind of possible when you sit down and you break it down into like really easy pieces instead of just jumping into it and hating yourself in a couple months.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So what are some things I feel like we've already touched on things, but what are some things that you would like to give everybody who's listening or watching right now that they could go and start applying to start taking care of their nutrition and their health in a holistic, more kind of way?
Okay. Number one, you touched on that, is baby steps, right? We don't want to go too fast and jump in before you're prepared. That's another thing that a lot of people skip, is they skip the preparatory phase. And you have to be prepared, and you have to evaluate and know what you're getting into and why you want to do it before you just jump into it. Because even with like New Year's resolutions, people just say, oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go buy a treadmill or get this membership. And then they get in and then they fail because they're not doing those primary steps. Right? So you have to take the baby steps that maybe you don't want to do because you actually have to look at yourself and do that self-reflection. Even with when you are if you want to start telling the truth, and not lying as much, you can start with small things. It doesn't have to be your whole life story or these really, really deep feelings. Like when I started, it was Santa Claus, right? I couldn't lie about Santa Claus anymore, so I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm Santa, I'm sorry. Let's be Santa for other people, just like things like that. Another thing is, because there's this connection between judgment and integrity, it's really not allowing yourself to beat yourself up, allowing yourself to be imperfect, because that's where it all comes from, right? We're trying to be perfect and do everything right. And so we start getting this critical part to us because we aren't being perfect. So allowing yourself to be wrong, allowing yourself to fall apart sometimes, that's okay. And number three, the thing that really helped me the most through everything was having a good support system. If I look back at the times when I was isolated and alone, I really didn't have anybody there that was supporting me or helping to keep me to higher standards. That's when I went down. And that's when I started to decline and go into this negative spiral. So having a good support system, people there that are going to help you to stay accountable to yourself, to hold you to those higher standards where you are in integrity with who you are, is going to make a huge difference for you.
Okay, that makes total sense. So it basically, they just need to sit down and first figure out the baby steps that they need to take, be
Mm-hmm.
honest with themselves and with other people about where they're actually at, both inside and outside of their nutrition. And then it's just about bringing it together with a really wonderful support system in case you don't have that, because you can be as honest as you want, but if you don't have people backing you up and allowing you to eat the food or do the healing work that you need to, it's really hard. So
Mm-hmm.
that is super grounded in how it is. It's not like you need to go out and you start doing a certain number of sets every single day. It's you need to sit down and do sips or go to 50 Zumba classes and be dying a little bit on the inside. um, it's you got to heal yourself more in a very nurturing kind of way. And that's super cool. Awesome. So when you're not being a badass at helping other people when it comes to making sure that they're staying in integrity and healing their bodies in this really wonderful way, what do you like to do?
Oh, geez. A lot of my time right now is actually spent at my kids' school, because
Okay.
I'm the PTA president. So a lot of my time is volunteer time, and I give back to the schools and do a lot of that. If we're not there, then we love movies. I love going to the movies. I'm super excited about the new Dumbo movie coming out. Yeah, I'm ready to see what Tim Burton does. And I'm in Oklahoma, so Oklahoma is, football. So Saturdays in the fall, we are football fans.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, um, is there anything else that you would like to let everybody know about? Because whether that's about you and your process or any programs, ways that they can connect with you, any other important info you want to give them, like what would you like to let them know?
Awesome. So right now, the primary thing I'm focusing on is my Facebook group and building community there. Because let's face it, as moms, we have some mom support groups where you can go and play with your kids, but there's not a lot for just moms that want to get advice or have fun or just find people that are like them. We're really isolated. So I want to bring people together in that so we can form a really good community and have that support network that you may not have. Ideally, I would like to eventually start some sort of local groups with that, so it's not just online. But that's down the road. But that's primarily where I am right now. I'm also, I mentioned earlier my foundational program that I have. That is a 90-day transformational nutrition roadmap where we take all this information about your life and your health and we put it all together, and I pull charts and I do all kinds of stuff. So it's spiritual and it's physical science stuff. We put it all together, and then I create a 90-day plan to give you those baby steps to start you on the way to this amazing life that that you deserve and you want, and you just don't quite know how to get there.
Oh, that's super awesome. I'm excited for that. I know that right below in the description, wherever you're going to be listening or watching this, that we're going to have the links to where you can go ahead and hook up with Stephanie, because it's amazing and I'm so excited. But yeah, I hope that everybody really enjoyed chatting with me and Stephanie today. I hope you enjoyed being on. And yeah, is there any other parting kind of words that you want to tell anybody?
All right. So what just came to me was the importance of integrity, not only for yourself and your self-expression. Of course, that's amazing and everybody wants that. But especially if you're a mom and a parent, it's even more important to get in line with integrity, not just to be an example to your children in in the way. But it's part of their development. Okay, that's part of what they need to learn. You have to be able to hold your integrity so that they can grow and blossom and they can come into full actualized adults. Because let's face it, we have a lot of people that are running around that look like adults, but they're children. And this is the key to really getting them to blossom and to become those, those adults that we're going to need in the future and that we want them to be. So this is, if you don't want to do it for you, do it for your kids.
Yeah, start the baby steps now as like an example. Even if like they're little, they'll start learning based off of you, or teaching them good habits to experiment in other ways and how to take care of yourself, not just physically, but on all the other levels.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Oh, I love it when there's little channeling moments like that. That's wonderful. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. For everybody who came to come and listen to Crone Chat today, again, if you want to connect with Stephanie, there's going to be stuff in the description, like underneath, or to the side, or wherever you're listening or watching this on. It'll be in a place for you. And we shall be talking to you soon. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Bye.